In this lesson, we're going to learn how to create a comp. Okay, so we have a few shots here, all with a few annotations or grade effects that we've added. So now I want to create comps out of those shots so I can begin building further additions onto those shots. So the VFX that we need for this shot, and then maybe anything else we would like to add to this one in the way of color correction, since it is a little bit blown out compared to our other shots. We'll have a little more control if we turn that into a comp, and then we can use a Nuke script to edit it. So let's just start here at the end, and I'm just going to drag a box around all my elements there. Then right click, go to Effects, and choose Create Comp. And we'll need to select a file path to place this because of the way that Nuke is going to organize our Nuke scripts that go inside of our actual HROX files, which is what Nuke Studio is using to have this sequence and have this timeline. So we're actually using two different file types. If you didn't notice in your project files, we're using those HROX file types in Nuke Studio, and then inside of Nuke Studio in these comps is where the actual Nuke scripts come into play, the .nks. So let's go ahead and click Choose. And you can see that we have our Nuke Studio files, and then inside of this is where the Nuke X scripts are going to live. So I'm going to go inside of that folder, and I'll go ahead and hit Open. And this is the spot where I want those Nuke scripts to live. So I'll go ahead and say, okay. And now I've got this new layer that's been added, and you can see that it's red right now, and it tells me what this footage is as well as the version. So that's going to be really helpful in determining how we're going to be saving these and changing them. The fact that there's a version there is really, really helpful, and you're going to see how that comes into play later on. Okay, I want to do the same thing for this shot too. So I'm going to select all those, right click, Effects, Create Comp. And because I already defined where I want my Nuke scripts to go, it's automatically going to place this one in the same place. Same thing for these. Right click, Effects, Create Comp. Perfect. So now I've got these three comps that I can now go into and begin making changes. Now I'm going to start in this street level one right here. So I'm just going to double click that. And that's going to open this up, and now this might look like a little bit familiar, a little more familiar version of Nuke to you, because now we're looking at our node graph. And you'll notice that Nuke has given us a few nodes already kind of helping with that metadata and all of the things that kind of need to go along with our original piece of footage right here, so that we are getting that footage back out here in the sequence view. So what I've got is a reformat node, which is kind of just helping to conform that, making sure that this is going to be the same size as what we have our sequence set to. And we've got, our metadata being modified, our frame range, which is important because we clipped that clip, we trimmed it, so we're not using anything, the full range. And then also the grade that we added out there, and then a few other things, as well as this little pre-comp node, which is where our annotations live. So if I double click that to open that up, I'll be able to begin taking a look at those annotations. So if I go to the Annotations tab and I kind of want to cycle through those, you can see I've got two of those here. However, I cannot see these annotations on top of my image unless I come in here and I connect my viewer to the actual node. And now I can cycle back and forth between these, and I'll be able to see those annotations and the directions that they're giving me. So that's going to be really helpful in being able to establish what we need to accomplish within this shot. Okay, so now that we have created our comps, we've kind of gotten a better look since our last lesson at how annotations play into the view on the sequence as well as the view inside of our node graph here. And now we're ready to kind of begin doing some new things. So I want to bring in some footage that we'll be adding into this shot. So we have a few renders that we brought in earlier, and I want to start merging those in and creating a really beautiful composite of this street scene. So come back in the next lesson and we'll begin that composite there.